Learning when to speak, that's the wisdom of discernment. Now, at first glance, Proverbs chapter 26, verses 4 and 5, well, they sure seem to contradict each other. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. That's Proverbs 26, verses 4 and 5. But in truth, these verses reveal one of the deepest treasures of godly wisdom. Knowing not just what to say, but when and how to say it, or even whether to say anything at all. These two instructions aren't really contradictory. They're complementary, like two sides of the same coin. One warns us against stooping to a fool's level and getting caught up in pointless arguments. The other urges us to speak truth when silence would just let foolishness go unchecked. In other words, it takes real wisdom to know which response, or non-response, is right for each situation. This isn't about clever debating skills or having sharp comebacks. It's about spiritual maturity. It's about discerning the heart of the person you're dealing with, the environment you're in, and the possible outcome of your words. Sometimes silence is actually more powerful than speaking. Other times, silence might be mistaken for approval or weakness, and a well-timed answer is necessary to expose error and help guide others in truth. There are times when engaging with someone who's acting foolishly only pulls you down into the same pit. If someone is mocking, provoking, or arguing in bad faith, responding in kind just fuels the fire. It's pretty easy to get drawn into emotional debates, sarcasm, or petty exchanges that lead nowhere. In those cases, silence, or just walking away, is the wisest choice. Why? Because you risk becoming like the fool yourself, prideful, reactive, and, well, not very helpful. This is wisdom and restraint. It's the strength to stay silent when honestly everything in you just wants to speak up. It's the discipline to protect your peace and dignity by not getting pulled into unfruitful arguments. Yet, there are other times when not responding can actually enable foolishness to grow. When a false idea is spreading or a lie is being accepted as truth, silence can be dangerous. In those moments, a measured and respectful response can stop the spread of error and help others see clearly. But even then, how you answer matters. The goal is not to crush or embarrass the other person, but to reveal the folly of their thinking without falling into it yourself. You're not answering with folly, you're answering to expose folly. This is wisdom and courage. It's the courage to speak truth in love, to stand up for what is right, and to point out the error, not to shame, but to correct. These verses remind us that wisdom is not just about knowledge or intelligence, it's about timing, tone, discernment, and spiritual insight. It's about knowing the difference between foolishness that should be ignored and foolishness that must be addressed. Now think of wisdom kind of like a skilled doctor, y'all. Not every patient needs the same treatment. Some folks need medicine. Others, well, they might need surgery. And some just need a little rest. The doctor's got to discern the right approach for each one. In the same way, as followers of Christ, we really need to let the Holy Spirit guide our words, our silence, and our actions. Jesus himself, he embodied this balance just perfectly. Sometimes he stayed silent before his accusers, like in Luke chapter 23, verse 9. Other times he rebuked the Pharisees with sharp clarity, like in Matthew 23, but he never answered just to defend his ego or argue out of pride. He spoke or didn't speak based on what would best serve the truth and the will of his Father. So we've got to learn to walk that path too. Our goal ain't to win arguments, but to walk in wisdom, keep our witness strong, and respond in a way that really reflects God's character. Proverbs chapter 26, verses 4 and 5, they teach us wisdom isn't one size fits all. Sometimes the wise thing is to stay silent. Other times it's wise to speak up. And, the only way to know which is which is by walking closely with God, leaning on the Holy Spirit, and growing in discernment through His Word.